So many twists and turns. Brrr. Many of you have been following the story of Hana Kobayashi, the Hawaii woman who has gone voluntarily missing. Her mother and sister allege that something nefarious has happened and that it's very out of character for her to ghost her family. She was supposed to go to New York City to visit her aunt. That never happened. The police in Los Angeles say that they have reviewed security camera footage that showed her buying a bus ticket to Mexico and crossing the border on foot and alone. Her cell phone has not pinged because she left it behind at LAX. Sadly, while searching for her, her dad took his own life. Extra sad if he did that and she's still with us. If he took that extreme measure thinking that she was gone, and she's not, but now he is. Additionally, her mother and sister both in interviews have stated that she does not have a history of mental illness or substance abuse. But LAPD has shared with the public that her social media posts prior to her voluntarily vanishing shared sentiments about detaching from the modern world. And even worse, according to NBC LA, Hana Kobayashi has done this before. She has gone MIA previously. And neither her mother, nor her sister, nor her aunt has spoken about that publicly. NBC LA could be wrong, but I don't know if I believe everything we're told or not told by her family. Additionally, as I shared with you all earlier this week, there are also reports that prior to her going to Mexico, she was involved in a visa scam, getting paid to marry this guy from Argentina. And that would explain her text messages to loved ones about not having her money, that she was scammed out of her money that she got for being involved in a scam. Well, now her case is no longer active in Los Angeles after it's been determined that she's in Mexico and there not under any duress. And the LAPD is speaking on the record, not just about their investigation, but about her 9 hours with this mystery man in Los Angeles. LAPD reiterates that this man nor Hana are suspects in any crime. She met him at the airport. They made their way down to Los Angeles downtown. They walked around. They were at Union Station together. And the LAPD has interviewed this guy twice. They have determined that he is a credible witness and have gotten a lot of video evidence of him and her together that corroborates what he told them. And because this guy is not a suspect for anything, his identity is not being revealed to the public. Lieutenant Doug Oldfield tells People magazine, quote, "For a while, he was the last person to have seen her when we didn't know where she was," talking about this mystery man. So, he adds, "We did have to spend a few days on this to ensure that nothing bad happened." Lieutenant Oldfield says investigators were able to track the man down only days after Hana was first reported missing, and in the course of their work subsequently confirmed his story about their time spent together. Detective Omar Franco was also interviewed by People magazine and spoke to them about Hana's disappearance. Oldfield says, quote, "I would say with this case, There were days and days where there's as many reasons that something could have gone totally wrong as there were reasons that everything was okay. So that's where we kind of live, in that middle. And that's where we'd have to keep moving on what facts we can get, what video we can get, and just move on to what the next fact will lead us to. As officials learned more, their view on the man's relationship with Kobayashi changed. Oldfield says, quote, "We have this gentleman. We have them walking on video. We're looking. Hey, does this person seem like she's in distress? What does she look like? We see a lot of smiling. We see smiling from the guy. There's another video where she passes by 2 police officers and has a chance maybe to say, 'Help, help,' if anything's wrong." So from here, we're able to then get a better idea of who this guy was, and we identified him. The man first met Kobayashi at LAX's train stop and struck up a conversation around 9 p.m. on November 11th as she was leaving the airport. Oldfield says, quote, "We haven't spoken to her, but from what we gather is that she was looking to understand how to get to Union Station and that he was going to assist her getting there." Detective Franco says for the amount of time they spent together, he pretty much was an ear to listen. She just spoke and talked about her life in Maui, her personal life, her love life, and so forth. And he just listened to her. He was probably trying to get in her pants. The unnamed man described Kobayashi as a free spirit, but said she seemed coherent and normal. She didn't seem scared. She said to the man that she wanted to go see the redwoods and also mentioned plans to be in New York, which we know that didn't happen. And here's yet another very interesting piece of new information. Police think that Hannah actually did attempt to rebook her flight to New York, but didn't because the rebooking fee was too high. Once Kobayashi and the unnamed man got to Union Station, they spent several more hours there together and ate dinner. They went to sleep in a waiting area, as some travelers sometimes do. And then when Kobayashi got up by herself after sleeping, she gathered her luggage and walked off on her own. These things we were able to corroborate, says Officer Oldfield. Detective Franco is making a public plea to Hannah, as others have as well. He and the LAPD really want to hear from her, saying, quote, "We're all just, everyone else is very invested in this now, and just what her thought process through all this was, and what her end game or goal was." And Detective Oldfield says, "We don't have her side of the story. We may never." Although I would imagine that her mom and sister are probably going to be heading down to Mexico to continue the search for her there. Thoughts on all these new details? Let me know in the comment section.